What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down NAS and US 30. So overall, if we look at the S&P 500 index, price is still in a very bearish market, although we have actually seen price come up, break above these highs, and give us a little bit of a steeper pullback than what we could have potentially anticipated, right? If we look at market structure overall, pretty much we have a high, low, lower high, lower low, and this area could be our next potential lower high. Ultimately, price is still trading under the 21 SMA, which is a sign that we're still in a bearish market. So although the lower time frames may be pulling back, and we do see a pretty significant size pullback here on the daily time frame, we could very well see another drop on this pretty much on the S&P 500, US 30, and the NASDAQ market. Right, it's normal for price to make lower lows and lower highs, and ultimately I'm going to continue to look for possible sell positions unless price actually starts to break above this 21 SMA, which will then see the stock market recover and possibly make new highs. I don't really think that's going to be the case. If I'm going to be 110% honest with you guys, I think the market's actually just kind of pulling back right now before making new lows, since we are in recession territory. Now, on NASDAQ, right, what we could actually look for is there's pretty much two areas to look to sell, because ultimately, again, we're still in a bearish market. We're still in a seller's market here, right? You can use a fib and see prices pulled back 38.20% of the initial impulse, which, guys, you have to remember, this is one impulse. This is one move to the downside. There's been no real pullback in between that one move. So now that price actually broken above 11,500, which was an area of resistance where we did see our previous highs form, and we did have support throughout this range. Price now looks like it has the potential to go all the way back up into 11,700, which would be close to our moving average there, which typically seeing a pullback to the moving average is kind of normal, and then we'll see price potentially drop from here. So as long as price can actually maintain itself above this 11,500, watch out for the next level of structure, which would be 11,700. At this area is where you would want to look to start selling again back down into 11,500. So let's say we hop onto the market tomorrow and markets are trading at 11,700. We could look to sell price back down into 11,500 as long as price maintains under 11,700. That's pretty much what I'm going to be looking for there. Now, if price, like ultimately today, what happened was a simple break under resistance. You have to keep in mind. So price formed support above this resistance level. Once price broke back under, and again, for those of you guys that were in the indices class, you guys should have been able to catch this move very, very, very easily. Right? Once price actually broke back under this area of support, which you have to remember, this 11,500 is a major area. Right? Once price broke back under 11,500 support and it held as resistance, is when you could have looked to start stacking onto your sell positions, and ultimately price had a big drop to the downside, and it almost dropped to our previous structure level being over here, but it did drop to this 11,300 area of support. So this was a very easy setup to actually catch for those of you guys that did catch it. Now price is trading back above 11,500, so I wouldn't really look to sell unless price breaks back under 11,500. Then you could probably look to sell it back down to 11,300, which is a very big move. Right, and again, for those of you guys who are in the indices class, you should already know how you're going to take this setup. Right now, as long as price maintains above this 11,500 area, we can look for it to go up into 11,700. Once it's at 11,700, we can look to sell it back down to 11,500. Anything above 11,700 typically, is going to be buys. Now, price does have the potential to come back to this area right here, 11,700 to about 11,740. This is the zone where I would possibly look to go short on the following trading day. Pretty much this entire kind of range right here. 11,700 being like the more exact point, but this is the general area I would look to sell the market back down, where we could see another big dip in the markets again. Now with US 30, it's going to be a little bit of a different story because we do have this area of resistance here. So with US 30, it's kind of like as long as price can remain under this resistance level, you could sell it. Once price breaks above this resistance level, then we'll look for price to come back up into the next resistance level, where ultimately we would look to sell it with the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we have this entire support range throughout this area. So you have one of two options: wait and see what happens at roughly 3650, which is going to be the zone here, right, where we have this support area where I do see US 30 dropping from that area back down into the 30,000 range. We're now trading back above 30,000, which is quite interesting. This is something I went over in the indices class, right? So we could look to kind of wait and hold the position until 30,000, pretty much this entire area right here, this 30,500 range to about 30,644 range, where you could look to go short in this area here again and then sell it back down into 29,700. That would be the next area I would actually look to target. I wouldn't sell at any point in time now, even though there is a double top here. It's kind of like a little sketchy selling around this area. If that's a trade that you want to take, that's perfectly fine. I can understand why you're looking to take the position. You have previous structure right here. You have a double top on the 4-hour time frame, and ultimately you could take the trade. I just wouldn't add too much risk on this specific position, just simply because if we look at the daily time frame, there's not like much support around this range. Like, you just have like this minor indecision here. Other than that, there's not like real major support or major resistance like we have in this area here. So if you guys do take this trade, I really wouldn't look to add too much to your position. I wouldn't go crazy with the position sizing, and I would be very, very strict on my stop loss and really stick to the stop loss area as much as I possibly can. Other than that, we could look to sell again at 30.65. Now, it is the beginning of the month, which is quite normal that we see markets pull back in the beginning of the month, because if we look at the monthly time frame, right, what this could be on the monthly time frame is just a wick to the upside where price is making the month's highs before price goes down to make the month's lows. So the question is, okay, can we see price go bullish the rest of the week and then next week we start seeing red, or are we just going to see price go bullish? Ultimately, you know, this is why I'm looking to sell in this area here again, because we have this monthly resistance area right here and we have monthly support right here as well. So if we look at like the last 2 months of price action, we have a big move to the upside, then a huge drop, a big move to the upside, then a huge drop after that, right? So, you know, we definitely can see price go back down to that area, and, you know, we could look to see if price will come back down and test the monthly lows. That's definitely something that we could look for. Now, ultimately, you know, we just got to wait for the structure on the lower time frames to set up for that before we look to start taking any of those short positions and continue to look to hop in on this bearish trend on the daily time frame. Now, price ultimately did make new lows, which we saw a drop under 20%, which again is considered to be a bearish market. So let's kind of wait and see what the next few hours have for us. I'm going to try and post a breakdown tomorrow morning before session for you guys, because I am going to be going to New York. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to trade. My flight's at 12. I got to leave my house at 10. So, you know, let's see if I actually trade tomorrow. I haven't traded this week. I only traded like Monday, just simply because, again, like I've got a trip planned ahead and I haven't really been wanting to take too many positions. So anyways, hopefully this breakdown gave you guys some clarity in what's going on with the markets. Again, long-term bias is still short. We're still possibly looking to sell long-term, but you could still capitalize off of that on lower time frames, such as a 5-minute time frame, you know, taking like these minor intraday swings and whatnot. And, you know, yet again, these minor intraday swings could obviously be a lot of money. I feel like this morning the NAS trade, for those of you guys that were trading, I personally didn't trade today, it would have been a super easy trade to actually be able to catch. I mean, like, this is literally what we went over in the indices class. Broke under support, retested, rejected, huge move away, where again you could have targeted the median of this area. Mainly this area of support is where I would have looked to target it. But anyways, guys, that's going to summarize the breakdown for today. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your trading week.